Hello everybody. I am Vedanathan. So, we are gonna see on a topic called use of computers in IT for management purposes. So, for in computers for IT, in the sense they are majorly used for this four purpose. The first purpose is business planning, and the second purpose is record keeping, and the third purpose is communication and for document preparation. Let's have a detailed overview of each and every part in the later slides. So, okay, this is just a meme for entertainment purpose, like for entertainment, not for entertainment. Managers also use computers, so they also use computers. So, for business planning, so what do I mean by business planning? So, consider a situation where a company buys another company for first consider a company X is operating only on embedded system, not an IT sector. So, if that company decides to buy an other company where which is an IT sector, they need to plan something. So they need to hire some freshers or other ideas. They can what they need to plan that, right? So for the planning purpose, computers are used. So they use some computers to analyze, like they have stock trades or the company's average growth rate. They depend on everything and they buy a company. And also they are used for emailing programs like Outlook. Was Outlook, every company I think out they use only Outlook, not Google Mail. So some companies like macro companies, they use Google Mail for appointment purposes. Also, most of the companies use Outlook for scheduling meetings, and also for the later slides, let's see about something called Zoom or Microsoft Teams. That that are the two things what most IT companies use for communication. So their managers also use some internet to research about the companies before investing onto it. So for business planning, computers play a major role on it. And then for record keeping, traditionally this record keeping was analog. Now they thought of, like, in case of analog, it's very hard to search where this record belongs to, and it's not easy accessible. So once when we come into digitization, we just converted every analog things into digitization. What I mean by digitization, in the sense, analog things to digitize. What do I mean by, like, just a photocopy? Not like that. Like, just if you take a photo of it and convert it into a PDF format or something, that's not, that is technically a digitization, but that is not actually what do I mean by digitization. What do I mean by digitization is, we are not only converting that analog data into digital format, we are also overlaying an optical character recognition to it, and then we are having that data into a database or something. So further, computers like a major IT sectors, like the leading companies like Amazon, Walmart, or some companies like Accenture, they also use cloud services. Not only these companies, all companies use cloud services for hosting their database. Like, in case of IBM, they can use rely on IBM Warehouse database or DB2, or they can have a virtual machine up and running in a cloud, and they can use a Kubernetes service to host nearly a 4 CPUs or 4 GB of RAM to it for record keeping purposes. Or they can use an private cloud within an institution, and they can host files there, they can host and virtual machines there. So that's a part of another thing called cloud computing. Let's not deep dive into it. So computers are also used for record keeping. And the third thing is communication. So for communication purpose, computers are majorly used, not just for WhatsApp text. I'm not meaning communication in the sense that this communication depends on, like, a group meeting or a weekly connect of an institution. Okay, consider a thing like, if there is a project called X, and this project is divided into four, and each chunk is assigned to individual team. What if there has some trouble in connecting every steps, like integration testing fails? So how do they actually resolve it? Actually, the answer is communication. So they use what if they can have an just a meeting, and they have resolve the problems. Okay, this is a problem. Okay, this was okay. Let's assume this first module will be developed using Python, and the second module or second chunk will be used Java. They will be developed using Java. So how they are going to connect it? so they can have a collaborative meet and they can convert it or combine it. So for communication purpose, every industry uses their own communication tools. They may also have a proprietary things like for WebEx for Cisco. For Walmart, they use not proprietary. They obviously use Zoom. And for core technologies and other stuff, they use Microsoft Teams as a major communication. So communication is like information is wealth. Communication is also wealth here. So for document preparation, so yes, document preparation really is a mandatory thing which all developers miss. So just let's go back in time when React was released. So it was developed by Facebook, right? So they developed a framework. What if I told you they developed a framework and they just published it without documentation? Will I be able to use React now? Because now every application that web application they use React or Angular. Just forget about Angular now. Just let's focus on React. What if there is a no? What if there is no documentation and a React only this coding or some GitHub, like they're all open source, right? So React is open source. Now we can also make it available, or we can just add an feature to React. So what do I say if there is no document? So how could you understand it? So that's what documentation is important. So they are not just used for spreadsheet and presentation or for memo preparations or something. So they were used for that stuffs, but now they are majorly used for an automated tools like, okay, consider a situation where you develop your own module and publish in PyPy in case of Python module. So let's have the name of the module say, hey I'm hey, I'm X. So let's have this module. So you develop all the code snippets, everything, the main functions, the constructor, destructor, the exception handling, every stuff is done. So what do? You just publish on PyPy for having this module available to public. So what if you just don't put in a documentation there? So no one is going to use that. So it serves no purpose there. So preparation is mandatory, and there are some active tools for document preparation wherein you can add some gist of in document preparation stuff, and other things are manually done because that's what gives an 10% accuracy. So document preparation. So we just learned why document preparation, how, and why it is so important. So because as of now, maybe it's not okay, maybe I was into it, so maybe I think everybody would have faced such situations wherein you just go into a random modules. Okay, this is very good, so why can't I use it? So after having a code snippet of it and running, it gives you some error like in case of Python, that quacks argument is missing. Oh, okay, what quacks are they giving there? Let's go and find in documentation. If you just go there, there will be no documentation. That time your whole project will be fed up, like will be undeveloped. So you can't just skip in that and use another module. So we need to dive in it. Okay, this quacks is coming from there, so that's a different module. Okay, we need to figure it out. That's a kind of mess, and that's going to give you headache. So that's what I say, document preparation is important here. So what are other use cases? So it's used for business communication, for accounting, financial systems like financial management. Obviously you are going to use Tally or Oracle something. So you are obviously going to manage your financial business. Like in case of stock management, they are using other stuffs, but let's just rely on macro institutions. They use Tally or something to manage their financial systems, and they also use for e-commerce platforms like offline systems are nowadays converting everything into online. You can just go log in there, you can just buy your products. But how it is done there? Where are the servers? Yes, everything is up and running in a cluster, preferably a Kubernetes cluster up and running somewhere in the globe around, so wherever, like in case of they can be in Tokyo or something, they will be running there and we can access that everywhere. So that's a part of cloud computing in the sense. So they are also used in e-commerce sites and for marketing and advertising. Yes, obviously this we can just go on to Google Ads and then you just host an advertisement, you just pay your stuff here, and every advertisement is shared to everybody. Now no one is going to like, okay, consider we youngsters, do we watch TV? We just use a phone for texting or instagramming or something, so we just on tv and then use phone. So nowadays advertising is not on tv, it's obviously on social media platforms, and that's what business institutions use google ads to make revenue. And also google makes revenue based on ads, that's a part of another story, let's not touch that. Then okay, then the most important thing is supply chain management. Yes, actually that's a different topic where how uh, producer provides details to the like how the chain is connected from supplier to the retailers. We can learn that in supply chain. So as of now, just learn something what okay, computers are also used in supply chain. And also human resources, yes, obviously they are gonna, if they are gonna hire you, they are having an hr round. That hr information is coming through mail stuffs, or an hr meeting would also be virtual nowadays. This covid situation, it will be also virtual. And staff performance management, this is not good for staffs, but it's good for the institutions, where your everyday activities will be tracked on, based on it you will be given a point, say 5. Okay, based on you, okay, 5 stars. So if they give me 3 stars, they will have a slab like this is a certain increment that we would offer based on your performance. We can have a performance analysis. So I think most companies use IBM Cognos, but I'm not sure of that. I think they use that. So maybe they can use a proprietary algorithm or a proprietary software. That's part of another story. And for business research and analysis also they use that. So okay, this is a meme based learning. So if you could have gone through this movie or this comedy scene, you would have easily got this scene. Like Prabhu Deva is a manager or a worker, and here he's a computer. So like I would say that phrase in Tamil so that you guys can connect it. ஸோ நான் என்னமோ என்னமோ சாதிச்ச மாதிரி சொல்கிறாங்க, நான் சாதிச்சதுக்கெல்லாம் காரணம் இவர் தான். ஸோ வாட் மேனேஜர்ஸ் அண்ட் ஒர்க்கர்ஸ் டூ, தே ரிலே ஒன்லி ஆன் கம்ப்யூட்டர்ஸ். தட்ஸ் வாட் திஸ் மீம் இஸ் அபவுட் டு சே யூ. ஸோ இஃப் யூ டோன்ட் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் திஸ், ஸோ ஓகே, தட்ஸ் நாட் அ ப்ராப்ளம். ஸோ with this we come to an end. So I hope this thing will be informative, and thanks for watching. Thank you.